Everybody, thanks for coming today. I have my dear friend Desiree Guery with me. I think I said her name wrong right away. Did I? I said it right.
No, you did it good. You did it good.
We met years ago. We were just trying to figure it out actually, but we met years ago on set for Cosmo, like
Yeah,
a long time ago
a long time ago.
when
That
you were
was like
really
one of
little.
my first jobs. Yeah, I was an assistant.
That's amazing. So I've known her from her fashion infancy, and
Yeah,
now she's a full-grown stylist, killing
I made it.
it. So proud of you. Good to have you
Thank
here. Thanks
you.
for doing this for me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Oh, this is awesome. Are you kidding? So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the industry?
Well, I saw a movie called Picture Perfect when I was a kid with Jennifer Aniston, and she was like this advertising executive person and was super creative. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's exactly it. So like I went through junior high, high school, college thinking that's what I was going to do, and I went to FIT, and then I interned at Vogue, and it just like changed my entire way of thinking. I just realized you could be so creative with clothes and accessories, and it doesn't have to be like selling Campbell's soup. It can be selling a Givenchy dress. So ever since interning there, I've just worked in fashion ever since. And I've worked in high fashion and e-com and celebrity and models. And now I also do still life as well. So I do like a hybrid. So half my clients are like still life based and half are fashion based, which means that I get to stay busy.
That is good. That is good. Still life is a good move, I feel like, for stylists, but it's really hard because it requires, it's so detail oriented,
Yeah,
you know?
definitely a different part of your brain that
Yeah.
you're using.
You have to be super OCD, I think, to be a really good still life stylist.
Yeah, yeah. And it's
Wow.
nice to be able to do that for a little bit and then take a break and go and do work with humans.
That must be nice. One of my best friends does that as well too, and he was saying that it's just, if you do a week of still life, it's fine at first, but by the end of the week, it's literally just you and the photographer, and you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta get out of here and meet some other people.
Sometimes you need like more of a communal conversation, and but I'm lucky, like the people that I work with have been really nice and it feels kind of like a family. And now
Nice.
like whenever people you work with more often are in your inner circle now, I feel like I don't really work with huge groups. And when I do, then we're all COVID tested and we all still stay apart from each other.
Yeah.
But I'm usually running around anyway. So I'm not really chit chatting unless it's like ecom and it's more relaxed and you have a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I do find we were just saying how we feel like it's gotten busier and busier, but also the people that we're working with are much more conscientious. Everyone is thoughtful about getting tested and wearing the masks and being appropriate distance within the studio. But it's such a weird time. I mean, what do you make of all of this? Where do you think the industry is going now when you consider how weird this year has been? And we do think we were saying how it's ramping up, but we don't
Yeah.
really know where it's headed. What do you feel like? What do you get? What's your guess for the future of the business?
I think it's difficult. I think that they're trying to find ways to cut corners. So it's kind of figuring out where you can make yourself be indispensable,
Mm,
um, which means like a job I did 2 weeks ago was wardrobe and props for a pharmaceutical ad thing. And it was like insane. And my apartment is still a mess and it's been 2 weeks. Um, but it's just making yourself open to doing things that you may not have thought you would have done before, and making allowances for like a certain budget or a certain rate because you don't want to necessarily turn anything down, but you don't want to accept anything that's below par and make it worse for the people behind you who
yeah,
have a certain standard set.
yeah,
I think it's just figuring out how to make it work with what's happening now and being understandable that the rates aren't like they were and the jobs aren't like they were, and just knowing that and accepting it and figuring out how to make it work for you.
yeah. It is interesting. There are some who have like stayed the way they should be, I guess, and then, like you said, there is There are some clients out there that are asking you to do a bit more, which is cool. But like we were saying,
There's
I,
a boundary.
there's a boundary, yeah, because there's a certain like one client who I won't mention, but I told you about before we started recording that they asked me to do hair and makeup, which I don't do makeup, and they reduced the rate significantly. And I just said, no, you know what I mean? Like it's just not worth it to me. And not even not worth it, but you're asking me to do a job that's not my job. You know, like
Exactly.
I was saying, like I may have watched makeup artists for the last 20 years, but I don't know how to do it. Like I can guess, but I've
Yeah,
watched, like I said, I've watched photographers just as long. You may as well ask me to take the picture. You know,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
probably will do a better job taking the picture because I've watched them more and I've
Yeah.
seen how to set up lights. So look
Yeah.
out, photographers. I'm coming for you, I guess. I don't know.
Do it. I can hold like the card up for you.
You're like, I'll style it, Dave. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And now I know you can do the set, which is great.
Yeah. I can do everything. Come on, book me.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's really funny because it's sort of like New York for some reason. I understand a lot of people are a bit tight, and I get that. Everything's unpredictable. But I don't know that imitating third and second tier markets is really the way to go. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we want to be flexible, but we don't want to. We're not. We don't live in St. Louis for a reason. We moved to New York to do top quality work.
exactly.
Not
Exactly.
dissing St. Louis. Big city.
No, but I mean, it's not cheap to live here. And especially being freelance and being self-employed as we are, um, whenever you cut a client out, like I cut that other client I was telling you that makes you do like fix hair and things.
Oh, please tell the audience about that. The client wanted you to style and to do what?
And fix hair and makeup.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So while you're fixing a dress, they'd be like, "Can you also like zhuzh her hair?" And it was just all day you're running around and you're like steaming and you're tagging and you're fixing hair and makeup. And I just,
That's
it's, and
insane.
yeah. And for such a big company, I feel like you can afford, like, I know what I'm making, you can afford to like pay that for someone else to like specifically do that one job.
Yeah,
But cutting one client out now really messes with your budget a little
sure,
bit.
sure.
So it's not even like I want to live in a different city or something. It's just like we have to be here and we have to be
Yeah,
smart about how we budget our money. And especially now, knowing there are clients that you just can't work for anymore,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's true. And it is like that. You do have to be, you do want to be smart and thoughtful about it, but you also need to think what's going to happen when we're on the other side of this thing. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like
Yeah. You're
for those
setting
of us who
standards
live,
now for later.
yeah, like if you sell yourself at a bargain basement rate, they'll never pay top dollar for you again,
No.
you know, and they'll never respect it. For
Yeah.
those of us who made it through post 9/11 and then the 2008 crash, this is a very different situation. It's lasting much longer, but
Yeah.
there is going to be another side of this. We are going to see ourselves on the other end, and the business, it's like a pendulum. It'll swing back.
Yeah.
And if you're not, if it's like anything else, if you don't know your own value or worth and don't demand your own value or worth reasonably,
Yes.
you won't get it and you won't be respected,
Exactly.
you know?
And it's really scary. Like when I met you and I was working at like high fashion magazines, um, and Devil Wears Prada world,
Yeah.
those people that I assisted and I worked for now can't even find work because they're so high tier that they just don't even know how to adjust themselves to work an e-com set or to work something that's not it's like a different mindset to work something that's not editorial where you have like a room full of racks and racks and racks and tables and tables and tables and you have time to like think and play. Like it's
Yeah.
totally different world now and totally different rates and a lot of people are having trouble adjusting and
It's
that's like
true.
yeah, it's scary, but you
Man,
have to be
you're
like a
right.
chameleon.
My word, that is so true. I was on a job just before. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I was in a job recently where the art director came from that old school mentality. And I've known her for years and I knew where she was coming from. And I could see that the client was getting frustrated with her because she was operating at that old school pace
Yeah,
And yeah, and it's amazing because you do come up with beautiful things when you have the time to think about it.
of course.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But that's just not, people are, when they're paying for you to be there, they don't want to take that time. They want you to like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's not like that anymore.
it's
And
not.
I remember when I was assisting, they would be like, when my boss was like crazy and making me cry every day, they would be like, when you're at that stage, you're going to be doing that to someone else too. And I was like, first of all, no.
Thank you.
Second of all, thank God it's like not normalized anymore to like even act like that. And
Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of ushered out a way of thinking and a way of acting.
I agree. I actually, yeah, you're right. It's true. It's true because if I saw a girl crying on set now, it would be everything would come to a halt.
Yeah.
Like the whole production would stop and be like, "What's the matter? Can we do something for you? Or is
Exactly.
it time to call it? Should we?" But back in the day, they'd be like, "She'll figure it
Yeah, yeah,
out,"
exactly. And
which
my
is
hardest thing about
terrible.
transitioning from like being an assistant to being a stylist was when I was assisting, you were told to like be quiet and like be a magical little elf that gets everything done, but like doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't make eye contact,
Yeah.
doesn't like make themselves known. And then having to run my own set, it's like hard to remind myself, like, no, now you have to like speak up. Now this is
Yeah.
your set.
Yeah, I'm there now. That's
Yeah.
so funny. I had this one guy I used to assist that was super passive aggressive. So
Mm,
he would tell me to do that, to be the quiet magical elf, and I would. And then the next day would be like, "You were so quiet yesterday. That's so weird." And I was like,
yeah.
"You're such a jerk."
Yeah, one of my bosses, like we would have a free table, and if we were doing like fittings all week and we were like going on location, I would wear like jeans or pants or whatever. She would like if there was a free dress, she would put it on my desk and be like, "You wore pants 3 times this week. Now you'd have to wear a dress tomorrow. You have to wear a skirt tomorrow." Like
Wow.
I could never imagine telling any of of my assistants that.
No, it's so
What?
abusive. It's
It's
so
so
weird.
crazy.
It's
Yeah, it's
so, I
yeah,
love it. Oh my God, how crazy.
it's
You got
crazy.
good stories.
So much has happened to me, you have no idea.
That is so funny. I like that though. I like that you said that the crazy part of this industry has been weeded out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for the most part. I mean, there's still a couple of nuts running around, but for the
Oh,
most part,
and of course, yeah.
so many. But I
Yeah,
think, yeah, a lot. But they can't. The way that they can be crazy is limited now.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you can't be abusive to someone. And back when we were starting out, when I was assisting too, being abused by whoever it was you were assisting was kind of normal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
it was a
people,
rite of passage.
yeah, it was like hazing, I guess, at college or something. Like you
Yeah,
had to learn to just deal with it because you knew that on the far end of it, that you were going to get a great career.
exactly. It was the trade-off.
What's interesting is now, do you think though that kids who assist now,
Oh,
I don't
I mean,
think they're going to get a great
I have
career, if I'm
no idea.
honest.
They have no idea. Sometimes I even think to myself, "I'm so nice."
Same. I know. I'm like, you have no idea.
Yeah, man, come
Yeah.
on, the things I had to do. I don't know if, like, even now, I think, like, for you have a great career,
I've
but
been
even
very
like
fortunate.
from the existing, yeah. um and I feel like I have a great career in my sector and what I do, but when I worked in high fashion, I thought I would be like a fashion director, and like I still could be, but those jobs aren't as coveted as they were because
No.
magazines were a huge thing, and now it's like internet. So
Yeah.
now like the goals I strived for when I was 20 are different now that I'm 35.
That's been an interesting adjustment, hasn't it, for those of us who came up during a time when fashion ruled everything and magazines were coveted, not just to work at them, but for someone like myself to work for them, to work
Yeah.
for regularly for like a Vogue or a Harper's Bazaar was like incredible. And if anything, it still would be great. I'm not knocking it,
I
you know,
mean, still book us.
for sure, for sure. But it is a very different world right now. I feel like And even they recognize it. Like they're booking younger photographers that they're finding on Instagram or something now that was unthinkable years ago.
Exactly.
Unthinkable. Even they realize they've got to like roll with the times, you know?
I
It's so
also
different
think
though. I'm
it's
sorry.
the rates, like the rates to book like a Stephen Meisel are totally different to book like someone who's on Instagram and needs like a bigger following and is willing
Mhm.
to do more for a lot less.
Yeah. Yeah.
They, it's the same with styling and bloggers. Like a lot of companies that I used to work for will try someone else and they'll try a blogger or someone who's not really a stylist but has like fun images on their Instagram, and then they'll realize once they get on set like the caliber of what they're working with. But a lot of companies are willing to like take that chance,
Yeah.
which
It's so
that wasn't a
funny.
thing before.
For them, it's a gamble. It's like going to Vegas and they're willing to like place the bet and see what happens.
Yeah.
I did this hair job about a year or two back. I will not say who the client was, but what was interesting was they booked someone who was an Instagram influencer. They booked a couple of models and then a couple of influencers, but without seeing them in person. They booked them, I guess, just off of their Instagram.
Yeah.
And on the prep day, because you do a prep day when you do a hair job, and then the next day you're like to give people glosses and haircuts and just to get the rough stuff out of the way. But the girl showed up and looked nothing like her pictures. The way she retouched herself was so extra, so much, and she used so many wigs and pieces that they didn't know, they didn't realize. And we're doing a hair thing. You're doing their hair, and her hair was not what they imagined. I mean, we made it work and we made her look real cute, but it was. I was like, guys, you gotta have a go see. You know what I mean? Even now, a virtual one. I had a similar
Yeah,
situation again recently. Would just have them send you a video of what's happening with their hair and face, so you know what you're getting. You know?
exactly. It's the same with sizing when they send you a size that's smaller and then they get to set and nothing fits them. And it's just like, why would you lie about what size you are when you're doing a so and so campaign?
That's
That happens a
true. Does that
lot.
happen a lot?
That happens a lot, a lot. So now I always buy, if I like something, I'll buy it in multiple sizes. But it's hard if you're pulling from a showroom and they only have one size. Like
Of
if
course.
I know what size you are, I'll get exactly what you need. But now I'm like, I struggle with influencers because they never really give you exactly what they are. So
Yeah.
it's always just planning for the inevitable scramble.
How crazy. I haven't seen that often, but that makes perfect sense that they would do that. It used to be
Yeah.
model agents would do that, but I think they stopped with shoe sizes. I did a shoe campaign once. They
Yes.
lied about
Yeah.
the girl's shoe size. That
Yeah.
poor thing was shoving her foot in these tiny shoes for a week. I
Yeah,
felt so
they're
bad for her.
size 11. Don't say they're an 8. Just say they're an 11. It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. They'll figure it out. They make the shoes. We can get them. Wow.
Exactly.
That is so crazy. The size thing, that would that would infuriate me. If
And when it bothers me, it's not when it's like one size difference and you can kind of like pin it up and like tweak it in a way that it works and you won't notice it depending on where they're moving. But when it's like a 3 size, 4 size difference, it's just like, what did you think was going to happen today?
I love that. Did you think I wasn't going to notice that this
Yeah.
doesn't work? That would be so crazy. I can't imagine having the gall to lie like that.
I just, and you can't even see anything. So
No.
it's just like you're just internalizing these, like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
But
That is so nuts. I did another hair thing recently and oh, I feel bad about this. But the girl had alopecia, which is a
oh
serious
no,
condition and a private
yeah,
one. So she shows up and I was like, did no one know that that was what was going on? And she's like, well, my agent should have said something. And I'm like, and you're right, the agent should have.
yeah,
So I changed every hairdo that I had in mind for her. I had to. And I was, because at this point, she's there. I'm not going to humiliate her. I'm not going to make her feel bad. And I didn't want to, it was this weird thing. So I just thought, you know what? We'll work around it. I'll figure something out. I'll figure out other looks so nobody knows. But
yeah.
I just thought, man, this is, That is weird because if it's an influencer lying about themselves, that's bad. But if the agent is being deceptive about what the model's condition is, then you're
Yeah.
just putting her in a super weird spot that's unfair to her.
Yeah, in an
You know?
awkward position. It's the
Yeah.
same thing when they show up for a swim shoot and they didn't know they were doing swim and they
Ooh, I've said
haven't
that.
shaved or waxed or
Yeah,
anything. You just feel it
that's
makes them feel uncomfortable. It's not us. It's like we can work with you, but
for sure.
they feel like they're in a position like, crap, I have to do all of this stuff now. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I do feel bad for them. I feel like you shouldn't throw girls in the deep end of the pool like that, like not without telling them what's going on, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. I've seen that a lot over the years. And you're always are just kind of going like, God, guys, it doesn't cost it costs nothing to just make the call or to make switches. And if anything, you're more willing to work with agents that you know are on the up and up and are always looking out for their girls too, because that's just not looking out for their girl at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's not
Exactly.
protecting their people, you know? Wow, that is crazy. So what do you see for yourself in the future? Where do you think, I know we both are like, God only knows where the business is going, but
Yeah.
we've invested so much in our careers now. Where do you think this thing is heading?
I think that it's going to be a rocky year while people kind of figure out. I think the cutting corners isn't going to work for a lot of brands, and they'll be going back to how things were. And once if there's a vaccine, um, and things normalize a little bit, I think it will kind of go back to not in the heyday, but like at least pre-COVID, where there is a hair person, there's a makeup person, there's a stylist, there's a
Yeah,
prop stylist. Like everyone is confined to their own specific piece and like you make it work and it's great instead of having one person try and do everything.
yeah,
I think it's going to take a while to get there, but I think that people are going to see that cutting corners is not necessarily going to work in the long run.
yeah,
But I also think that a lot of us will learn to adjust. And I think a lot of us will learn new skills, and that'll help
mhm.
us going forward, like just getting jobs and getting better rates.
Yeah, I agree. I'm learning to take that picture. No,
you
it's
have, you have a plan already.
yeah, I'm on it. I'm on it. That's it. That's so funny. I think you're right, though. I do think that eventually they'll realize that having three or four people do their individual jobs or having one person, the jobs still have to get done. The same
Exactly.
amount of time is being taken.
Yeah.
If anything, it's probably taking longer because you're asking them to do three or four things that are
Yeah.
not their jobs.
And it's not as efficient, and some things fall through the cracks if someone is being asked to do so many different things.
Yeah,
And I think like, especially for our job that's visual, if you're trying to sell something, the image is what sells it. It's not like the buying team. It's not, the CEO. It's like there's so many different layers of what sells a product, but the
totally.
creative is very, very, very important. And the first thing people see is the image. That's what makes you buy something. So you have to invest in those teams.
That's exactly right. That and the girls too, like good casting, good hair,
Yes,
good makeup, good styling, good photography. All those elements make for a successful, will sell a because half the times a really crappy looking dress or a terrible looking outfit. You know what I mean? Like something that isn't great, but you can
yes.
make look
It'll
amazing.
make it look great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll sell the dream and have someone be like, oh, I can wear it that way. That'll be cute.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because ultimately, when you're selling people things, the idea is to make them somewhat aspirational, still within reach, but
Yeah,
give them something to aspire to, something that they're like, I would love to have that, not just a headless sweater. Like, you're like, will
exactly.
that look good at me? I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Thank you so much for doing this with me today. You're,
Yes. Thank you for having me.
I love it. I hope we can be on set sometime. Apparently now you're doing the hair, so maybe not.
No, I do not do that.
Good. I'm glad. Say no. Tell them.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to say no.
Yeah, it would be really, really nice. That would be awesome. It was so
Yeah,
good.
I would love that. It would like come full circle.
I know, right? You'd be
Yeah.
like, now I'm the boss.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, Des. You're the best. It was really, really fun having you.
Oh, thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Bye.
I'll see you around the neighborhood.
Yeah.